This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so guys, we are gonna start with basics. Okay, when I say basics, basically what is, I mean, at high level, what are software testing? What are the components of software testing? What are the different tools and technologies which are available currently in market? And which is the best one, how to identify all those things we are gonna discuss. And after that we are gonna start with one tool, obviously, which is purely based on uh, JavaScript, or let's say modern web applications. When I say modern web application, guys, it is not supported for desktop, please remember that. It will be purely for web apps. Okay, so the tool will be Cypress, and with respect to Cypress, we will divide our, you can say, course content into sections, such as first we will go ahead and explore the programming language, which is nothing but JavaScript, correct? And even like TypeScript, guys, because TypeScript is a wrapper which is built on JavaScript only, guys. Okay, so we will have a detailed discussions on what is JavaScript, what are the different, you can say, features which are provided by JS, that is JavaScript, how to, let's say, create variables, how to write functions, how to create like all the looping statement, all whatever is basics required from the JS JavaScript point of view, guys. We will discuss all those features into our first section, guys, right? So we will make sure that everyone are, let's say, comfortable with the basics of JS and how we can create the program using JS. Okay, once that is done, guys, we'll move to the second very important, which is like major part, which is obviously introduction to Cypress, and how to do the first, you can say, let's say, initialization, or let's say installations of the Cypress. What are the prerequisite, why to use Cypress, all those we will discuss in detail in the second section, guys. Okay, second section will be, let's say, a bit lengthy, wherein we will obviously cover all the features what Cypress is providing, guys. Okay, so if you try to check over the Cypress production website, guys, you will see that the Cypress every 2 or 3 weeks they are, let's say, updating their versions with respect to new features getting implemented under those versions, guys. Please keep in mind. Okay, then after that we will jump to the third content, guys, third part of our course, which will be how to integrate, or let's say how to use Cypress along with JS to create some of the real-time framework, guys. Okay, so those real-time framework will be part of both, that is UI as well as API. Okay, when I say UI will be kind of mostly into page object model. Okay, and when I say API, we can use page object model, but we will try to use rest assured also, guys. Okay, and we will discuss about the BDD Cucumber implementations with the Cypress using JavaScript. Okay, anybody got any query, any questions, anything you want to highlight before we kind of get started with the content, guys? You can unmute and ask your doubts, queries. I will be sharing my screen right after this discussion, uh, because I have not shared any this thing. Okay. Uh, I'll share the course content. I'll share the duration of the course. I'll share the modules what we are going to cover. What are the framework that we are going to discuss? All this we will discuss. So right away I'm sharing my screen, guys. Okay. Sanjeev, you have any queries?
Yeah, hi sir.
Go ahead,
Sir,
please.
yeah. So, sir, actually, I'm a little bit confused that which is more in demand. Is it Cypress or is it Playwright?
No, no, it is Cypress. Okay.
Okay, okay,
We will be talking purely on Cypress, not on Playwright base.
okay, okay.
Understood?
So,
Okay.
um, how is it how is it different from Playwright? Because actually, I'm
Uh,
working in a company, so most of the projects they're demanding Playwright.
mhm.
So,
So the ratio is like this, Sanjeev. When you know Cypress, correct? If you are
yeah,
aware about all the you say syntax with respect to JS, that is JavaScript, okay. So moving to Playwright will be kind of hardly you will require 20% to 30% more knowledge, okay. Because
okay,
what is Playwright? Playwright is actually faster than Cypress also. Cypress is already faster in terms of execution, that is 10x of Selenium, but when it comes to Playwright, it is actually faster than Cypress, and whatever disadvantage Cypress is holding, those disadvantage is getting overcome with the help of Playwright. That's the major, you can say, feature what Playwright is having. Okay, so at the top, you can consider, let's say, Playwright is at the top in terms of modern web applications. Okay, when I say, guys, modern web application, basically your application should be built on React, Node.js, uh, JavaScript. This will be your, let's say, front end coding, or let's say HTML, CSS. This should be your front end technologies. Okay.
okay,
So if you consider that, Playwright will be at the top. Second will be kind of Cypress guys. Okay. So Cypress is having some limitations, due to which Playwright is actually taking, let's say, advantage, or obviously having more importance comparatively. Okay, so
okay,
there
okay,
is no much difference, only 20% effort you need to put more in understanding the real-time framework which Playwright is supporting, such as, let's say, Chai framework, Mocha framework. All those are the framework which is present under Playwright. That's the only
okay,
difference.
okay, okay. And is
Hello.
mobile automation possible using Cypress?
No, we are not doing mobile automation using Cypress.
No,
For
no.
that, we no,
Yeah.
that is
So,
not possible.
okay, not possible. All right, all right. Fine. Thank you.
Yes.
Hello. Am I audible?
Go ahead. Go ahead, please. You're audible.
Hi. Yes, yes, this is PK. So actually, I too have extended doubts, whatever Sanjeev has asked. So as far as the opportunities and salaries are concerned, whether Cyprus is more in demand or Playwright is more in demand. So opportunities, number of opportunities, and I mean, the go-getter sort of, so immediate joining capabilities and all.
So opportunity wise, I would say it is actually depending upon the how your pre-sales teams is kind of converting your SOW or whatever it is there, right, into the automation. Because again, the concern is, I would say, the market share right now, if you consider only Playwright and Cypress, it is like 55-45. 55 is
Hmm.
Playwright, 45 is Cypress. So I won't say
Okay.
there is a huge difference. It is almost
Hmm.
balanced. The salaries for Cypress automation engineer, the salaries for Playwright automation engineer, both are almost at the same point, guys. Okay, hardly there will be minor difference. Otherwise, everything is same. Since I told you there are some drawbacks which Cypress might overcome in, obviously, in the latest release, but till that time, Playwright obviously, you can say, having a catch.
Okay, a person who is having around 12 to 13 years of experience after this course, can he get into 3 years into Cyprus experience and all? So what could be his expectation in the down the line? So how much he
See,
can expect in salary?
uh,
Yeah.
Cypress wise, I would say you should have the experience with Java also. right? Because when I say you are directly into JS and TS, that is JavaScript
mm,
and TS, TypeScript, it will be
mm,
altogether new programming language. Okay,
mhm,
and you are starting from scratch. If let's
mm,
say if it is a 12 plus years of experience,
mhm.
I would say into at least two should be your this thing number of years of experience into two. That should be the you can say expectation. If you
So
consider
24 to 25. Yeah. Okay.
if you consider 4 years or 3.5 years of experience, let's say you showcase while doing the let's say interviewing or something, right? At that time, if you showcase, let's say if I have 4 years of Cypress experience, then minimum should be 12 number of year into 1.8 to 2. That should be the expectation.
12 years into 1.8. Okay.
Yes,
1.8 to 2 years. Two factor.
12
Okay.
number of years into
Uh,
1.8.
yeah. Yeah.
Correct.
Number of years into 1.8, you mean to say, right? Or max 2. You mean to say that way.
Max to 1.8 is starting range.
Huh. My question is like, if person knows JavaScript, whether the Java, knowing Java is mandatory or not required?
No, that is not required, guys. If it is from scratch, because see, at the end, it's again your choice. Because if you know JavaScript, right? Obviously, you will have the keen to know Java also. That's for sure. The reason
What for?
because
Because a person who is having manual of experience of around 80 years, so he want
mhm,
to jump into automation knowing just JavaScript, because
that's
JavaScript
fine.
whoops concept on the yeah.
Yes, that's correct. But at the
Mm,
end, what happens is because it's not like when you are kind of giving an interview, this
mm,
my personal experience. It's not like if I'm asking you the questions of JavaScript, people will not ask about Java. That's for sure. They will jump into the Java basic concept as well. Okay. So, basic concept, I'm not saying like Spring Framework, Hibernate, or Spark application. Those
the
developers
collections
not
and all will also
correct.
be will also be
Till
asked.
collection, yes, till collection, you will have theoretical knowledge about what is collection, what is array list, what is linked list, how hash map is working, how hash table is working.
But
All
why?
this.
But JavaScript is something because it's different, completely different, right? So I
Correct,
was
correct.
surprised to
I
know.
understand your concern. Because it's not like purely you will, because at the end when we go jump into some different framework with respect to REST assured or let's say other types of framework, it
Mhm.
may happen that we are using some third party node package manager library, correct, in which
Okay,
there can be the some concept which are relevant to Java. Okay.
okay,
In Java we have let's say classes. In Java, in this thing we will have let's say inheritance concept. How
mm,
inheritance concept is different from JavaScript or Java, right? That might be the question, like comparison question. I'm not saying that it will be purely Java related. Why we are preferring JavaScript, why not Java with Cypress, right? Those type of
okay.
questions can
So
into
only
your
yeah, okay. Only theoretical questions of advanced topics like
correct.
collections will also be asked. That's what I'm to say. No, they won't expect the coding
Coding,
challenges of advanced.
coding challenges is not required, guys. If it is purely Cypress related, this thing position, guys. Okay.
Okay, okay. Only Cypress, I mean JavaScript coding is enough to proceed further.
Yes,
Correct?
yes. Coding round will be on JS or TS TypeScript because Cypress usually support two language. One is JavaScript and second is TypeScript, guys.
So if you mention that JavaScript is mentioned in a resume, so TypeScript is
By
not- is
default,
a,
you should know.
will it
By
be
default,
expected? No,
yeah,
right?
they. So basically, they will not ask more into TS, guys, because you
Okay.
obviously explicitly said that I have my complete 4 years into JavaScript only, right? So they
Mm-hmm.
may ask you like some challenge questions. Will you be able to kind of cope up with TS if my framework is supporting TS? So at that time, obviously, you need to answer positively, right?
Mm-hmm. In that case, if say
You
no,
need,
again like
yeah. That's again your choice whether you will be able to cope up with TS, because TS is almost like 30-20% change with respect to syntax in terms of comparing Java and TypeScript, guys. There is no major difference. Please keep in mind.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Anyone?
Yeah. So one question, like API automation is also possible, right, with this
Oh,
Cypress?
perfect. Perfect. Correct.
Okay.
API, rest assured, whatever we are doing with Selenium with Java, same is possible with the help of Cypress framework, guys.
Okay.
That is
Okay.
possible. Okay,
Uh,
whatever we are doing, Postman, guys, manual testing, right? All whatever we are doing, that is possible with this thing, Cypress.
Okay.
so sir, CI/CD is also included in this course.
CI/CD integration with Jenkins is included. With respect to source code management, we are using Git. We will be using Git. All the commands which are required when someone works on real-time applications with respect to Cypress framework, how to manage the repository branches, how we can move our code to main branch, how to resolve conflict, when we kind of push our code to repository, how the Jenkins file is triggered, uh, how to see the Cucumber report at the end of the execution, how to log, how to view the assertion errors. All those will be part of your CI/CD pipeline.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
And guys, one thing, guys, just to give you overview, we will be using VS Code, guys. Okay, VS Code as an editor. Okay, just to give you prerequisite, we will not use IntelliJ, PyCharm, Eclipse, any of the editor, because Cypress is having best support with VS Code in terms of plugin installations, in terms of support, in terms of support over the internet as well. Okay, because it is having a lot of other plugins which is configured beautifully with Cypress. When I say Cypress along with VS Code, it is possible that in real time the people might use IntelliJ or something, right? So there is no issue with that, correct? But yeah, the preference wise, if someone asks you, the VS Code is at the top priority, then you can kind of answer, let's say IntelliJ, PyCharm, Edit Plus, NetBeans, or Eclipse, whatever IDE you are thinking of. Okay, so I'll start with the introduction. Before that, before starting intro, anyone has anything to ask, highlight? Okay, I'll show the course content at high level, what all things we will cover, guys. Okay. Okay, so let us get started, guys. Uh, First of all, what is Cypress? Basically, Cypress is a tool which is purely focused on, you can consider front end automation web application tool, guys. Okay, front end, guys. Even though we are able to do the API testing, but the first preference when it comes to Cypress is like the front end, guys. Okay, so front end web automation testing tool. Okay, it's a front end web automation testing tool. Okay, and it is purely configured for validating, or let's say doing the testing for modern web application, guys. Okay, now if you might have seen, guys, most of the applications which are getting developed recently, everything is actually into modern web application, guys. Okay, what are modern web application, guys? Anyone? Modern web applications are nothing but the applications which are built on React JS, Node JS, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Okay, so the front end applications which are built on this front end technologies, right? Those particular applications will come under modern web application, guys. Okay. Now here obviously we have Angular JS also, guys. Okay, Angular JS also. Initially, if you go through the history of Cypress, guys, Cypress was initially developed for the developers, guys. Okay, the reason is like to perform the unit testing. As you all know, right? Who is performing the unit testing? Developer, right? So in Cypress, we have a component testing, guys. One module called as component testing. Okay, so developer can use that as for unit testing, whatever unit or component they are developing. So obviously, they are able to do the you can say unit testing if it is required, guys. Okay, one very important, guys, Cypress is not using any jar or any third party, you can say, applications, guys. Not using, I would say, not using Selenium at all, guys, because Selenium is altogether separate, you can say, discussion, and Cypress is altogether having, you can say, separate discussion. If you are aware about the Selenium basics, guys, Seleniums require lot of you can say jars. Okay, Java archives basically. Okay, and each of the situations, like if you want to read the data from Excel, then you need some other jars, let's say Apache poi library. If you want to, let's say, generate beautiful report, then you need to use extend report. If you want to kind of use, let's say, log4j, right, for logging purpose, so you need to have the log4j dependencies to be included in your pom file. But in case of Cypress, guys, you don't have such you can say dependencies. It is open source, no need of any third party plugins or application, guys. Okay, so in Cypress we are having two major component. One is called as runner, guys. Okay, what is that? Runner. And second one is called as dashboard. Okay, dashboard. So guys, please remember, dashboard feature is available free for three resources, 2 to 3 resources, right? After that, it is like kind of charging you some dollar because it's a paid feature. Okay, whatever one user or two user are using, they are kind of showing it for the demo purpose. Okay, other than that, runner and everything is open source, no need of any kind of payment. It is having best support over the internet as well. The only feature which is paid in Cypress is the dashboard, guys. Okay, because in dashboard you have lot of things to be kind of getting displayed, the beautiful report, pie chart, graph, number of test case pass, fail. Okay, what are the assertions, error, everything is part of your dashboard, guys. Clear? Anyone has any questions?
So Mocha is part of uh,
Mocha is part of assertions in Cypress.
okay.
Mocha library. Okay, Mocha and Chai both are the libraries which are kind of using with Cypress, guys. Okay. One more thing, guys. In Cypress, you might see some third-party installations. Okay, but those are something is into the Cypress only. Okay, into the Cypress only. Okay, so I'll show you what exactly Cypress is doing. Cypress is saying that I don't want any third party jar file. So Cypress is saying everything will be coming from one section which is called as npm, guys. Okay, npm. Okay, what is npm? Npm
Load
stands for
package model.
Node Package Manager. Okay, so in Cypress we will have one folder called as node module. Okay, whatever dependencies you will require, right, whether you need to, let's say, work with iframe, let's say work with other modules such as mocha have some report, all this part of Cypress only, guys. So you need to just run one command because Cypress is purely built on npm. Okay, whatever command you write in your Cypress folder, like root directory folder, it will install, it will do the setup, and automatically your Cypress config.js file will get updated to that particular version, and after that you will be able to use into your framework. Okay, now one scenario is there that Cypress is not supporting iframe, guys. When I say iframe, basically like we are having various iframes, right? So Cypress is having some difficulties in handling the iframes. Okay, so those are the different drawbacks which Cypress is holding, guys. Okay, so at that time we will might if your application is purely into iframes and all those things, so you need to kind of change the tool itself, guys, from the UI side. Okay, so that's the reason we will kind of tend to move towards playwright as well. That's what playwright is supporting, best support with iframes also, embedded iframe, overlay iframe. Okay, whatever mode you want to use. Clear, everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
So because as Selenium has some capability like you can access the Chrome developer, so is this facility available for this Cypress?
Mhm. So in Cypress, if I go through the course content, guys, let me go through the course content. Just a second. Let me see. In Selenium, I hope you guys are aware about locators, correct? XPath, CSS, ID, name, correct? Same is available in Cypress. The only thing is in Cypress, the first preference locator is CSS, guys. Please keep in mind, okay? Because most of the code which you will see over the internet, over your into your recent project or wherever you are seeing, right? You will see that everywhere people are storing the value of CSS into the variable, and those variables are being used in the framework, guys. Clear, everyone? So obviously in Selenium we have something called as Chrome dev tool, right, wherein we are kind of inspecting the element and trying to locate the element, right? So in Cypress we can do this in real time, guys. Okay, when I say real time, basically you can real time open the application, you can locate the element, get the locator right away and use that locator into your code. Okay, but when you try to run your project, that time it may happen that that particular locator may fail, guys. Okay, so at that time what we need to do, we need to manually check the locator, why it is getting failed. Is there some issue with the CSS which has been identified by Cypress, or let's say we need to use retry is equal to true for making sure that it will refresh multiple times and it will identify the like web element which we are looking for. Okay, so yes, Cypress is having a beautiful feature wherein you can kind of inspect the element in real time, but most of the time, 80% of the time, that element is like tends to be correct. 20% of the time you need to manually explore the application and make sure that whatever locators you have used is correct or not. Okay, so at that time again we need to use basic things, guys. We will use Chrome dev tool and write our own XPath, sorry, write our own CSS selector. Okay, and we will make sure that particular CSS selector is actually identifying unique element on a page. Okay, clear, everyone? Okay, moving on, guys. What are the basic prerequisite which will be required, guys? The only thing which we will require is, guys, node installation, guys. We need to install node package manager. So for that we need to install node. Okay, very easy steps. I'll share the steps also. And second thing is you need to have the VS code. Two things are required. After that you will create a folder for Cypress and do the initial level setup by installing Cypress. Okay, so guys, one thing you need to keep in mind, in Cypress what we have is like we have the node module folder, guys. Whenever you create Cypress framework for the first time, guys, you need to have that folder. Okay, now that particular folder is of almost like 90 MB, 80 MB, depends upon what all other dependent module you have installed. Okay, now the problem is when you are sharing the code, guys. Okay, when you are sharing the code, so the other person needs to have that node module whole folder. Okay, that's a major you can say key point which is required whenever someone is sharing the code. Okay, so the other person, what they need to do, they need to kind of install the whole Cypress framework from scratch, and then replace all the files, whatever basics files are there, and then he will be able to run the code. Okay, so if you have 10 frameworks, then there should be 10 node module. Okay, you can have it one also, but in that case all the workspace will be in the same modules, guys. Okay, like you are running your API automation in same this thing, you are running your UI automation, so all will be under same this thing, same workspace. Okay, that is possible. Okay, that we will talk when we are kind of doing the practical implementation. Anyone has anything to ask, highlight? Okay.
Yeah, because so which all browsers that it supports? Is it
Okay,
supports the main browsers like
let me
Firefox?
yes, let me go to the presentation.
Yeah.
I have created high level presentation with respect to that. Okay, so browser supported are like this, guys. uh, so I hope you have heard about Electron browser. Electron browser is a browser over which Firefox is there, Brave is there, and Chrome is there. Edge is altogether different, guys. Okay. So as of now, this total 5 browser is having the support with the Cypress. Okay. Here, if you see that we are not able to run our code on which browser, guys, majorly I Safari, guys, because I hope in like almost in US, right, we are having the issues like almost all although the Chrome this thing is highest in terms of percentage breakup, but still the issue is like we are not having the support for Safari browser. Okay, now if you go through this, you will see that we can go to their official documentation. Okay, in this official documentation, if there is any update with respect to the browser, okay, they will keep on updating, guys. Okay, now here we have Edge, Firefox, Electron, and WebKit. Okay, so whenever we are installing Cypress for the first time, you will see that all these browsers will get installed automatically. That's the reason node module is having, let's say, size obviously literally high, guys. Okay, so whenever you install Cypress for the first time, you will see something like this, and over here you will be able to choose the browser in which you want to run your test, guys. Okay, we can run the test in headless mode and head mode, basically in the UI mode, or let's say if you don't want to kind of see the end-to-end flow, you can kind of run your test case in the non-UI mode also. Okay, using command prompt commands, guys. Okay, now who can use Cypress? Who can use Cypress, guys? Okay, who can use Cypress? Basically, as I told you, right, initially Cypress was introduced only for the unit testing, correct? Now here we are able to perform something called as end-to-end test cases we are able to run. Okay, we can run end-to-end test cases. We are able to perform integrated test cases. Okay, I'll explain you what are integrated test case, right, during our manual testing sessions. I'll share at high level. And obviously you are able to perform unit test cases, I mean unit testing, basically. Okay, so here we have something, as someone mentioned, right? Are we able to do API testing? The answer is yes. We are able to do the API testing also. Okay, we are able to perform the API testing also. Okay, now to just give the bifurcations, guys, why people are kind of moving from Selenium to Cypress. Let us understand the difference, and after that you will have the visibility with respect to same. So let me kind of jump to one of the comparison sheet which I have. Okay, let me minimize this. So guys, this is at high level. Obviously, there are a lot of other things which might get added. So if you notice carefully, guys, Cypress is actually having a feature which is saying that I am sitting inside the browser. Okay, whatever operations you are doing, guys, right? It is actually within the browser. Okay, like, but in case of Selenium, you are having something called as WebDriver IO, guys. Okay, now what is WebDriver? WebDriver is actually remotely accessing the browsers on which you are running your application. Okay, Cypress is having good support for front end and API. Okay, Cypress is having only support for 2PL, that is JS and TS. Okay, here actually Cypress is since as I mentioned, right, because most of the, you might have heard that I am using Cypress for unit testing from the one who is, let's say, into development, right? The reason is because they have the unit test cases they can run through Cypress, guys. That's the reason. So who are the user? Developer as well as the automation engineer. Okay, now Cypress has a beautiful this thing. We don't need to kind of have any, let's say, third party dependency or all those things. Only two things are required. One is, let's say, Node, and second is VS Code. Okay, after that you will see a clean documentation which will say you how to install Cypress and how to create your first test. Okay, I'll share that document, and obviously we will go through that document as well. Okay, with that document, anyone who is having any manual testing experience or anyone, he's able to download, able to set up, and able to write the like high level code what is required for running the Cypress test. Here if you see in Cypress, guys, the folder structure is also very, you can say, it will remain fixed throughout, whether it is API, whether it is UI, whether it is big, because under folder you can create lot of other subfolder. Okay, that's the reason Cypress is having a single folder structure. Okay, and you need to modify as per your wish. Clear, everyone? Now browser, guys, Cypress is having good support for Chromium browser. As I mentioned, whatever Electron related things, because Chromium and Electron almost are same, guys. Whatever feature Chrome, Firefox, Edge, okay, all these are part of, you can say that, uh, uh, Electron browser, guys. Okay, all these are nothing but Electron browser. So there is some recent release, guys, with respect to Cypress after version 13. Okay, so wherein we are able to kind of iterate, or let's say initialize the Safari engine also. Okay, we will check that as well. Cypress has a great set of documentation on its official website, guys. If you see, guys, if Cypress is having 1,000 command, all those 1,000 command is actually documented on their official website with usage with some real-time application. Okay, that's the reason that you won't face any real-time challenges when you are kind of implementing the Cypress methods, guys. Okay, on the other hand, if you see, Selenium does not have those documentation on their official website, which is called as selenium.dev. But when you go to cypress.io/documentation, right, you will see that lot of things is actually cleared by reading the document itself. Okay, one very very important, guys, Cypress are not having the support for multi-tab, guys. Multi-tab means you are not able to operate through two tabs. Okay, that's a drawback, guys. But by looking at the Chrome dev tool, you need to remove one attribute from the you can say HTML code. After that, you are able to load that particular page within the same browser. That's what workaround is, guys, in Cypress. Okay, you need to play with a target element, whatever is present in Chrome dev tool. Okay, but in case of Selenium, guys, I hope you know, right, we have something called as get window handles and get window handle, right? So these are the method which are supported by Selenium, and with the help of that we are able to achieve multi-tab. Okay, number of old browser, obviously there is no support, because in every this thing release, guys, they are updating the browser versions also. Okay, let's say tomorrow my browser version got updated to 124. The Cypress internal browser will automatically get updated to that particular browser, guys. Okay, so old browser we might face some issues, guys. So XPath is not supported directly in Cypress, guys. As I mentioned, we need to use something called as plugin, and that plugin is we need to install via Node Package Manager. Okay, time travel, debugging, retry test, automatic wait. These are the major you can say advantage in Cypress, and these are the major drawback in case of Selenium. Okay, so what is this time travel, guys? Time travel means if you want to go back or go ahead, you will be able to go, guys. Let's say your test case is executed only till login, and if you want to see the scenario of till making the final payment, you can do that with the help of time travel, guys. Okay, debugging is easy, guys, because I told you, right? On the left hand side your test will run, on the right hand side you will see a lot of what all activity is happening and what modifications you want to do. Okay, that is also possible in case of debugging. What is retry test, guys? Retry test means your test is getting failed multiple times. Okay, it may happen due to some flaky test, due to some change in locator, right? It may happen. So what Cypress do is Cypress actually provide a logic of retry time, guys. Okay, it will keep on retrying, okay, for multiple times. After that also, if it is not able to kind of achieve, it will fail the test case. Okay, so there is an inbuilt feature of like retry the fail test case to overcome the flaky test. Okay, now this all sub features whatever I mentioned, let's say time travel, debugging, retry, all these are not available in Selenium, guys. Okay, automatic wait, Cypress provide a wait of 4 seconds, guys. Cy dot wait 4 second. By default, if your execution time is less than 4 seconds, it will go ahead and execute. But if your execution time is more than 4 seconds, guys, you need to explicitly use the wait into your Cypress script. Okay, and on the other hand, if you remember, in Selenium we are having something called as implicit wait, explicit wait, fluent wait, right? You need to kind of use those wait to make sure that the page is getting loaded properly. Community support, guys, if you compare both, you will see that Selenium is actually matured. Now you will get a lot of forums, a lot of support over a lot of social networking or any of the like lot of Stack Overflow, those kind of website. But in case of Cypress, it is kind of growing, guys. Okay, it is kind of growing. Clear, everyone? So anybody has any doubt, any queries with respect to comparisons of Cypress and
Hello.
Selenium? Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please. Mm, have you dropped your question on chat?
Yeah, hi Vikas, I have a question.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, the dashboard is a paid version, right? Cypress dashboard.
Right, perfect.
So, like for our trainings and like for our hands-on, so we cannot practice that, right? Apart from runner, or can we?
You can. You will get one user trial version.
Okay, okay. So
Yes.
that will be also covered in the course, right? The dashboard.
Yes, yes. We
Okay,
will be doing the dashboard integration with real-time test cases, and
okay,
those test cases will be reflecting your in on your dashboard.
okay. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Mm, okay. So, guys, just to give you quick, you can say insight. I know that I might not cover actual topic. I know that, but at just high level, I just gave an overview about the Cypress, about how we are gonna kind of cover what all things. we are gonna cover. I just need to showcase you all. Before that, let me go to, just a second guys, I think Cypress. So I hope you guys might have went through this page. If not, I would request everyone to go through this page. Okay. uh, okay, so this is a page guys, wherein it contains all the you can say duration. So we are assuming almost like 30 hours duration. Okay, it may happen that it may let's say extend due to, let's say if I give you some real-time practice activity, let's say having a discussion, you have some queries, doubt, you are sharing your screen, we are not able to resolve all those things, right? So it may but yeah, ideal time we will kind of able to complete within less than 30 hours, I would say. Okay. And if you go through the curriculum guys, if you go through the content, we have something like core syllabus, which is starting with introduction to JS, JavaScript. What all things we will cover are the basics, guys. Okay. Here we are not covering a lot of things in JS. Whatever from framework creations, from Cypress, from this thing, tool specific, right? We are kind of trying to achieve through this module, that is module 1. Okay. Second is like we will introduce to Cypress. I already introduced, but yes, in real time installation, setup, everything we will do it. Okay, in this particular module. Then once we have installed, do a real time project setup. Okay, we will kind of create a real time project and how to kind of use the node module, what all things node module folder content, and how we can use third-party plugins if it is required in Cypress, how to run command in your terminal section. All this will be part of your installations of Cypress and project setup. Okay. Now, whatever JavaScript we have covered over here, we will try to use into our Cypress folder structure, such as E2E, fixture, project. All these are the folders which are present in your actual Cypress, you can say framework, guys. Okay, how to use that framework basically. Okay, then we actually kind of move to real-time practice activity. So in this practice activity we will go through a lot of web element, how to work with the table, how to work with iframe, how to work with the multi-tab, how to work with a drop down, static drop down, dynamic drop down, auto suggestion drop down, checkbox, radio button, whatever web let's say features which we can see on a form, right? When I say form guys, whatever you can see, whether it is calendar, right? Selecting a date from the calendar, all those high level scenarios we will try to cover in you can say this getting started with Cypress automations, guys. Okay. Please remember guys, we can create almost like 30 to 40 files, odd file, to have the concept understanding of each of the features. Okay. And then we will move to API testing. What basics of API testing, I'll cover little bit about Postman, what is Postman, how to create collections, how to kind of create automation using your Postman collection, how to pass variable into your Postman collection using Excel. And once we are done with that, we will be jumping to Cypress API framework, how to run your get, post, put, patch, delete, whatever API, how to work with bearer token, authorization, OAuth 1.0, OAuth 2.0, if there is any other authentication mechanism which is actually a part of your framework, how to have that into your Cypress API automation framework. So we are going to discuss those sections as well. After that, we will talk about framework, guys. It may be page object model, it may be BDD Cucumber, right? And then we will have the detailed discussions on how we can use Cypress dashboard for reporting purpose, guys. How to generate the report, what all part of what all different part is it is available into your Cypress report, and how we can use, or let's say move our code from local to GitHub repository, how to integrate that GitHub repository with your Jenkins pipeline. Basically freestyle project, we will try to create freestyle project, and how we will be triggering, because in this framework we will try to make sure that all the test cases so far we have created, all are kind of getting passed. And because in case if it is failing or something, how to kind of analyze the console output in Jenkins and check the console, sorry, the assertion error, all those things, how to run individually, how to run in group tags, hooks before hooks, after hooks, all this will be part of your Jenkins, guys, CI/CD. Here I think a dashboard is not present, so I'll update this, because we are going to cover the dashboard also, okay, with single user. How to integrate your Cypress API or UI framework with real-time dashboard. Okay, how to install dashboard, what setup is required to kind of configure use, let's say, because there is one package ID, that package ID we need to configure with your Cypress test runner, and once that is done, whatever activity you will do into your Cypress runner, the same thing will be visible to you over the Cypress dashboard, guys. Okay, so that is also part of this course content, guys. And after this we will sorry, in between, obviously manual testing, whatever concept is required, or let's say Postman, if someone is asking, hey, can you showcase something with respect to Jmeter also, how we are doing that? Okay, so if there is a case of, let's say, because here we will require some knowledge on SQL also, guys, SQL, right? Basics of SQL, okay, how to use all the inner joins, outer joins, right? To make sure that the data which we are passing is correct, how to check the values in the DB, all those are kind of prerequisite, but we will try to make sure that we are having one sessions on each one of them, so that you will have the clear visibility on that as well. I might not have written here that we will talk about SQL also, we will talk about JMeter also, we will talk about Postman. But as a manual tester, I hope you guys are using. But yes, we will have one session on each one of them as well. Okay.
Uh, because are we not covering like the concepts like callbacks, promises, async wait, JavaScript?
Those will be into our framework section only when we are talking about API testing framework or BDD Cucumber test framework, right? How to handle promises, how to use then keyword, what are the different ways of writing the callback function, correct? All will be
Okay.
part of your
I
this
have
thing,
given the interview for this
right?
that site automation, so they have asked about this. What are
Yes.
callbacks? What is the difference between
What are
promise?
callback function? How to handle promises? What
Yeah.
happens when promises is, let's say, not working correctly into your favor? All these
Right.
are common interview questions. How to so we will cover those section as well into our. But I might, let's say, not go into theoretical during our this discussion. We may kind of use directly into our framework part when we are, let's say, creating the project from scratch, BDD or REST assured or API. So at that time we might discuss about all this topic.
Okay. Or you can send us the link where it is clearly describe the concept about it.
Yes, that's obviously we will cover, and we will take real time this thing also, practical implementations also for each one of this topic, guys. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
so don't worry on that part. Yeah.
So,
Uh,
because as a practice part, are we going to implement all the concept for a particular web application, or are we going to take example of different web application, like how it
different
is going to?
web
Okay. Okay.
different web application, because it may happen that
Yeah.
all feature will not be available in single web app, right? So we may
Right.
need to kind of move to. I do have the list with me.
Okay.
Uh, so let's say for drag and drop, I might use something else.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
auto drop down, I may use something else, right?
Right,
So
right. I got it. So my point of asking this question was like, let's say at the end of the course, we'll be applying for the interviews, and also in that resume, how can we showcase like what we have done in Cypress? Like, can we show some application on the resume? Like, okay, we have done implementation of Cypress on this application. So that's why I'm asking, because how to proceed after the course. That was, I know it might be too early to ask this question, but just as a curiosity, I'm asking like how
I'll
we'll
give you
showcase.
high-level answer to this. See, ideally, if we go, you might have went through a lot of resumes.
Yeah.
So people or whoever is kind of asking you the question, right? They never kind of dig into the URL, right? What is the URL of your project? How your projects look like, correct? So
Yeah.
usually what people do is like whatever learning activity they might have done in terms of Cypress, right? Whatever it is, whether they have
Hmm.
handled iframe, they have handled let's say a lot of regression testing features, smoke testing, whatever they have done, they just update their resume with those this thing, whatever is required from Cypress point of view. Now it's your duty to explain the interviewer how you have used that particular feature into your real-time project, whatever project. I am working on Citibank. So in Citibank, you just need to obviously update saying that there were various forms with respect to mutual insurance or all those things, wherein we were trying to
Right.
have various field over there, let's say auto suggestion drop down, radio button. So we used to use it block multiple times, right? Through that we were trying to make sure that all the test cases whatever we have created from the UI side, those were working fine. So that is something you need to kind of create your own this thing from the project point of view. But yes, at the end, theoretical knowledge you should have, as well as the practical implementation. If they give you some dummy website for practically saying that, hey, can you create the logic for this, then you should be ready with that also, because in some of the cases they give the practical website and they ask you to kind of try to perform this,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
So you should be ready for that as well.
Yeah. Because nowadays in interview, I think on the online interviews, they are asking to share the screen, and then they are asking to, write the
Share
code
your
on an
yes, yes, on the application. That's correct. Show the
Yeah.
VS code, show your folder structure. All these are common things what is right now going on in the interview process.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Obviously,
Thanks.
we
Thanks.
will this will be more clear as like we go into little bit more detail into each one of the topic. So you will have better visibility, better understanding through all the concepts whatever we have discussed so far.
Yeah.
Cypress
So
is not vast, guys. Okay, please remember that Cypress is not vast like Selenium. Please keep this in mind. Cypress is having like very like limited, you can say, scope in terms of concept, in terms of practical implementation, unlike Selenium, because Selenium has got a lot of third party dependency, lot of things you can do via Selenium, because right, there is a Maven repository which is kind of supporting almost JSON, Pojo, all those things, right? So there are a lot of topics in case of Selenium, but when it comes to Cypress, we are kind of having limited, you can say this thing, scope in terms of questions also when interviewer is asking. Yeah, someone was asking something.
yeah, because so actually I was asking that as in the Selenium, the major challenges is like the exception we get related to the element. So like stale element reference exception. So is this type of exception also we get in Cypress?
Cyprus, we get several exceptions, guys. Okay, it's not like we don't get the exceptions, but in
Okay.
that case, as I told you, Cyprus is actually in real time, it is 10x faster than what Selenium is. Okay, If your Selenium is loading a page in 2 seconds, okay, your whole this thing. So what Cypress do is Cypress is having the logic of auto wait. Okay. So in case of Cypress, the probability of getting the exception is comparatively lower as compared to Selenium. And to handle those exceptions, whatever we get in Cypress, because Cypress is providing real-time inspections logic. With the help of that, you can inspect right away, okay, and if that particular exception is kind of repeating most frequently, then you need to create your own locator by going to Chrome Dev Tool. And if your locator seems to be correct, you will never encounter those kind of exceptions. In case of Cypress, I'm talking.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Thanks.
So, Vikas, do we have weekday classes?
uh, I think this is purely designed for weekend.
Mm.
So it will be, so I think this will be of 7 to 9:39, sorry, 7 to 9, I think. Uh, so we will have the session for 2 hours. Uh, but initially for this thing, we are having session for 1 hour today and tomorrow. And obviously, like we will have two more session, which will be of 1 hour. After that, we will start with the practical implementation. At that time, we may have the session of 1 hour 40 minutes, 1 hour 45 minutes each day over weekend. Sorry.
Okay. So
Okay.
we will have the recorded sessions as well, right?
You will have the recorded session. You will have the WhatsApp group. You will have the, question. If you have any queries, you can drop a note or you can drop a message one to one. You can ask for sharing your screen and let's say asking your doubt. You will have all the feasibility, okay, with respect to, let's say, if you want, if someone is asking over weekdays, if they are using Cypress into your real-time project, and if they are stuck in some exception, some error, some issue, they can kind of share the screenshot snippet to one to one if required, and if required we can connect. Because more you will ask, obviously you will have better learning in terms of how real time works, guys. That's the reason.
Okay.
Yep.